these right here. So, see, when I put these in the box, they disconnected, and when the Bluetooth disconnected, it paused the video. But I was trying to say that these headphones have independent connections, so you can use either one at a time while the other one's charging. That's a good feature. Because I mean, honestly, it's a necessary feature. Because what are these worth? What good are these at all if you can't use either one while the other one's charging? So yeah, these are solid. I'm gonna find out how much he's charging for these, and I'll put them on my personal Facebook. I'll put them out on Twitter. I'll put them out on YouTube, and maybe I can sell one. If I can sell one for him, I would be happy, because, you know, he gave these to me for free as a, you know, a belated Christmas present. It's almost February now, but I love them, dude. I just got them, so I don't know. But the sound quality's good. When I was at my sister's house, I took them out and I listened to like one song. I listened to Paradigm by Avenged Sevenfold. I was talking about that earlier, and how much I love that song. And it sounds good. It sounds really good on those headphones. So the only thing about them that I can't speak on is the battery life, but they're rated for 8 hours. And all the Bluetooth headphones that I've used in the past, those hour ratings have been pretty accurate. So if they last for 8 hours, that's going to be good for probably 99% of you guys. 99% of everybody, right? People that work 12-hour shifts, like me, I got to use these stupid shoestring ones. But those ones will be a good backup, or I could start the day with them and then I could swap out to the shoestring ones. And the shoestring ones aren't bad. They're comfortable if you get a decent pair. I had a pair of the LG Tones, and they have that big heavy necklace thing, and then the cords come out retractable, and then you can put them in your ears. But I found that those thin little wires that come out of those are really unreliable. Maybe tech reviews, like that Unbox Therapy guy. Man, if you watch some of his early videos, they're nothing like what he does now. And he has like hour-long shows, and I've never watched a whole one of those, but I do like watching some of his reviews that he does on some tech stuff. And man, he's got some good cameras, dude. He's got a lot of, you know, all the best tech and stuff. And I don't have money to be buying all the tech, and I don't have the viewership to be getting free stuff either. But the last video that I watched from that guy, Unbox Therapy, was on that the new Motorola Razr. How cool is that thing? Those foldable screens. And I don't know if the technology is proven on those, but I know that if they're putting the Razr name on it, it better be really good if they're using that name, because the first Motorola Razr was like a massive success. And I actually never had one, but I had the flat one that they called the Sliver. The Sliver. I didn't have the Razr, I had the Sliver, because it didn't fold. But those Razrs, that thing's still iconic, man. That thing was around forever. I still remember the commercial with that lady who just took it, she folded it, and then she just slid it into her back pocket. You know, it just slid right in there. Tiny little thing. It's like super thin. Because flip phones back then, like pretty much any phone, like the flip phone was new for a while. Because I think originally you had those big giant bricks that were like this big, you know, you'd be like, hello. Back in the 80s when you had those cell phones that had like the 20-minute battery on it, and it was this big. And you would have to pay like $20 a minute to make a phone call. Seatbelt again. I really need to fix that bad habit of mine. I heard the dinging going off. And then they got smaller and smaller and smaller, and then the flip phones kind of got popular. They got really popular. All the phones were flip phones pretty much. And then the Razr came out, man, because flip phones were like this thick. They'd be like as thick as my thumb almost. As thick as my thumb is long. But they would have the little flip feature. But then the Razr came out, and it was just super thin. It's like a half-inch thin, which is a joke nowadays. Now you can you can outcompute 1970s NASA with the phone that I'm recording on right now. You know? Friggin' space age technology. And now we all are running around with it, and it's better than what they had back then. The state of the art in 1970 doesn't even touch commonplace cell phones of today. You know? Pretty crazy how far we've come in like 50 years. Just in the last 10 years. Well, I guess it's about 15 years now. 15 years ago, we didn't even have smartphones. Not really. Not real smartphones. Not the way we think of them now. You know, you had like the Palm Pilot. But that, you know, what can you really do on that thing? Those things were a pain to use. Although, I loved it. I thought it was super cool at the time. I liked how it had the actual physical keyboard. I still would like to have a physical keyboard on a phone. But I wouldn't want to sacrifice the screen though. So I get why they were phased out. But those were a cool thing. I liked that physical keyboard, man. I could ride out with my typing speed on those. But I type pretty quick on these phones now that we have. But those physical keyboards were better. If they had like those little slider phones, those were kind of big too. I had what was it called, man? It was a Sony phone, and it had a little slide out keyboard, but it was just a number pad, and so texting on it was T9, because I was kind of before texting was really big. But they could make a really sweet flip or smartphone now, similar to these like just flat glass bricks that we have now. But what if it was just a little bit thicker and it had a keyboard that could slide out the bottom? But then it would probably be really top heavy from the screen being all the way up there, and then you're holding it onto it at the bottom. So I don't know, you'd have to figure that out. But a physical keyboard is nice. I'm excited about these headphones. Maybe I'll buy my wife a pair. She's talking about getting a gym membership, and if she's going to be going to the gym, she's going to want headphones, right? Maybe not, if she's going to be going up there with her friend. But I really love all the new technology that comes out. It's great stuff. Just regular consumer products and all the stuff that makes our lives easier behind the scenes. Computers are running everything now. It's also a little bit scary, I guess, because computers seem more fallible than big metal machines. You know, because those can break too, but they're a little, I don't know. Computers, it's probably just some sort of weird thing that just because I don't understand how it works. How the heck does a freaking circuit board work? I kind of understand. Like you send electricity here, and then it triggers this, and it's just like a giant chain reaction. But something that's just beyond my understanding is the processor. What is that thing doing? There's like an infinite combination of things that you can do on a computer, and a processor is able to just do. I don't know. It's able to think through. There you go. I like that move. That's a good move. I always respect it when people do that. I was at a red light. It was a four-way red light, and when the light turns green, oncoming traffic's coming too, right? And if you're out in front and you're going left, you can just whip out in front of the guy who's going straight across from you. Like I'm oncoming to him, and as soon as the light turned green, he just cut me off and went left in front of me. I always respect that move, because if he didn't do it, he would have been waiting there forever. Everyone behind him would have been waiting forever too. So yeah, bro, run that. You got it. That never makes me mad when people do that. In fact, I did it today. In the garbage truck. That's right. The same thing would have happened to me. I would have been waiting there forever to take my left, and he was all the way across the way, and he had a long way to come, and I was able to cross his path almost 100 feet in front of him. So I was out of his way Even if he would have hit the gas immediately, I would have been out of his way by the time he caught up to where I was crossing. So yeah, I did it just today. Same move. There's a lot of things, you know, before I got my license and around the time that I got my license, my dad told me for a while that it doesn't take long to learn how to drive. It takes, you know, 6 years to a decade to become a good driver. And that's probably about true. Because there's a lot of intricacies to driving. And communicating with other people, and kind of the big one is predicting what other people are going to do and reading the signals that they're giving you. And sometimes it's signals that they don't even know that they're giving you. You can kind of just get a feeling like, oh, this guy's going to do this. I know it. He's going to cut me off. He's going to try to pass me up, and he's going to try to cut me off. You don't know that when you're 16-year-old, when you're a 16-year-old behind the wheel. You don't know. You don't know. You just need to be vigilant. Oh my goodness, man. Driving when you're 16-year-olds driving are so dangerous. You got to watch out for them. We should, if you have a 16-year-old, just line their whole car with reflectors and signs saying that they're a new driver. Yeah, even if it embarrasses them, whatever. It might save somebody's life, probably your kid. Oh, man. I'll tell you this, when my daughters get old enough to drive, they're going to be learning in a stick shift if they still make them. For sure. You're going to have to learn how to drive a stick. I think driving a manual shift, like I'm driving right now, I'm in a 5-speed little Honda, learning how to drive a stick shift makes you a better driver. I think so. You just understand how cars work better by shifting the gears. You have to understand it, how it works a little bit better. You have to focus a little bit more, you know? Like how when I was leaving out of work about an hour ago, I friggin' stalled. That doesn't happen in an automatic. Unless there's something wrong with the car, pretty much. I could do a video on that, how to drive a stick shift. There's probably lots of videos on YouTube on how to do that, but, you know, maybe I can explain it a little bit different. I know that, here's another guy who's really great if you're looking for a podcast to listen to. Jocko Willink. His demographic is probably about 90 to 99% guy. But something wise that I just reminded myself of that he said is that when you learn the same thing from many different teachers, there's probably going to be a like 80 or 90% overlap where they're teaching you all the same stuff that you already knew, but there's going to be a little piece. There's going to be a little piece of uniquity from each teacher that you learn the same thing from, and eventually you have a broad knowledge of it, and you learn all these extra little pieces that only they could give you, you know? Or maybe the other teacher tried to give it to you, but you just missed it. They didn't emphasize it, or you just missed it, you know? But you hear it from another person, and maybe it clicks better. They use a different word, and it clicks in a new piece. Clicks in a new piece of the puzzle. Driving is definitely like that. When you're 16 years old and you have your license and you're out on the road by yourself, man, you have like half the pieces. There's holes everywhere. There's holes everywhere. You're missing whole sections, you know, and it takes a while to fill in all those pieces, and I probably still don't have a complete picture, but I have a much fuller picture than I did, you know, 15 years ago when I first got my temps. For sure. For sure. Yeah, driving is super dangerous, man. And there's a lot to learn about it. It's real easy to learn, and I think not just 6 years, but it probably takes a lifetime to really master. And yeah, I was talking about it last time, how driving has been my job for About almost 10 years, or no, for sure 10 years, at least 10 years since I got my first pizza delivery job. When I got that first pizza delivery job at Donato's. Man, I still love delivering pizza. I had when I first started this job at the garbage company, I was working at Domino's, and I was delivering a little bit of pizza on the weekend. But then I just was so tired, man. They would have me come in and do the closing shift on Saturday. After I start the garbage shift at 5 a.m. and then I go home for 4 or 5 hours, and then, or not even that long, like 4 hours.